Andrew, what's up, man? It's really nice to have you on here. How you been doing, man?
I've been doing pretty good, man. I'm very honored that you asked me to join this, so thank you for that.
Let's start from the beginning. How did you grow up? What was your childhood like?
Yeah, so I grew up with both my parents and everything in a household, and like it was, I would say it's pretty normal childhood. Like lived like lower, like middle class and everything. My parents both like neither of them went to college and stuff. And
Mm.
then when I was about to go to college, my mom actually decided that she wanted to get her bachelor's degree. And then my dad, he was in the Marines, and then he opened up his own construction business and everything. And so it was pretty awesome. Like when I like look retrospectively now, just how hard they worked and how they always made sure like me and my
Mm.
brother, my younger brother, were like always taken care of, and just I would say it was a good childhood. I never wanted for anything, but we never lived outside of our means. Very
Mm.
fortunate. Love my parents. Hope to like I aspire to be like them one day. So
Mm. When you first before you even got into fitness, did you
yeah.
see one of those like bodybuilding posters or something that even inspired you, or how did you even build
So
the interest?
it's so funny. I remember this like so vividly. I was sitting on the couch with my dad, like maybe 6 years old, 7 years old, and it was like the old like strongman competitions from like the
Ah.
80s. It was like a rerun. And so I remember, I don't know who it was, but this guy, just massive guy, was like pounding nails like into a piece of like wooden block with his hands. And then like they were like bending like metal, and I just like was infatuated by it. And I was like, that's so cool. Like I want to do that. And so that day, actually, my dad, he went and like hammered nails into a piece of wood. And I remember I actually hurt myself because I started trying to practice it like a dumbass.
Oh man.
But yeah, so like that's the first memory that I have of like getting into fitness. I played sports my whole life, but that was really like the first like gym-esque, bodybuilding-esque, strongman stuff that I can remember that like
Mm.
really sticks with me.
Interesting, bro. That's like too
Yeah.
strong, man. It's interesting. When did you even first step into to a gym?
So funny enough, my dad, when I was in 8th grade, I was playing football, and he had found this old like weightlifting equipment on the side of a road, brought it home, and it was like the most grungy like thing you could see, but it had like like a curl bar, it had like a little like press machine, it had like a leg extension machine. And I remember like I would get home from football practice like 6 p.m. and then I would like go down into like the garage and just like I just started lifting. I wanted to just like get strong, you know? And I knew nothing like how I do now.
How
I
old
was
were
doing
you?
every
How old were you?
12 or 13, 12 or
Oh.
13 years old. And, then the first time stepping into a commercial gym, there was a place down the road from where I live now. It was a 24/7 like fitness club. Um, and I remember my mom signed up, and so I got to like go on her passes. And so then that was like the first like actual gym that I started going to. And that was when I was like 14 years old. So like my freshman year in high school.
Hmm. Interesting.
Yeah.
There are two types of people when they start going to the gym. I was the first one. When you get addicted to the gym and you just real, I can't wait to get the next workout. It's cool
Yeah.
that you're sore. There are types of people that quit within the first 2 3 months, and it's like I don't know which one were you, but like, why do you think people quit so early, or why do you think people don't like it from the beginning?
So
Honestly.
I mean, I think it's like that's like a dual question, honestly. So for
Hmm.
me, it was like really intimidating. I was a shy kid, I was like a little overweight and stuff. And so I wanted to like not look like that and like get better. And for me, I remember like seeing all these big people and like people that were stronger than me. And it's like a self comparison thing, right? Like when you're inside your own head, you're fearing that everyone is like judging you and like looking at you and all these things. And realistically, most people don't even care like what you're doing there. You're at a gym. And so I remember I would actually go at times where there was no one else there. So I would go at like, you know, 12 a.m., 1 a.m., like, and I would have school the next day, but I just didn't want to like work out in front of people pretty much. And it kind of, I look back at that now and like it's silly, but whenever someone who like wants to start going to the gym, I always tell them, I'm like, even if like someone's going to say something to you, you're at the gym, like you're bettering yourself. And so that was like where I was. I was like so timid and everything. I didn't have anyone to work out with, like just would go by myself. I would like run to the gym middle of the night, run back or ride my bike, even in the winter. And so I definitely think like there's an intimidation thing. And it's just, especially now with like social media, there's so much like, oh, you have to do this, or oh, if you do this, it's not healthy, or oh, if you do this. My like main thought is just go and move. If
Every
you're going
eh,
there,
if you think about it, everybody's an expert now. First 1 or
every
2 years into the gym, everybody's an expert.
bro, everybody like you have kids that are 17 years old, and I fully support it. I'm not throwing shade to anybody, but like you're 17 years old, you've been working out for 2 years. You for sure know what works for you, maybe, but like
Yeah.
fitness is unique in the sense that like what works for me might not work for you. There's certain principles that we apply, but like you really have to find like what is like working for you. And that's kind of why I do what I do now is everyone thinks like, oh, just do this and you'll look like me. And it's like that's not how it works. Like everyone is like anatomy, like yeah, we're 99% the same anatomy wise, but certain things work for some people that don't work for other people. And so like the presumption that, I know what I'm doing and I have no educational background and I've only been working out for 2 years, that in and of itself means you're not an expert. I truly don't even consider myself an expert, and I've been lifting for 13 years. I have an
Mm.
extensive like educational background. I want to go into sports medicine and everything like that, and I don't even put myself as an expert yet. So
Yeah, man. Now I'm my third year into the gym. I started going. I was
yeah,
15. I'm 18 now, and I'm thinking like, man, I know like what works for me because I've experimented and I fucked up a lot of times. But
yeah,
like, bro, if I don't know, for example, what the advice someone with diabetes because I never had diabetes and I never like advised anyone with that. So, for example, I wouldn't feel qualified like advise someone on that.
and I love that you said that because like so many people like they I don't really know what it is. Like psychologically, people don't want to be wrong, and I do get that, but you just exactly said it to yourself. Like, you know what works for you, but you wouldn't know how to advise, a 50-year-old person with type 2 diabetes, which is like a huge epidemic right now. And like to have the thought that you know enough when you don't have like an educational background in it or like at least experience in it, is just like silly, honestly. It's
Yeah.
counterintuitive.
Yeah, and also I would advise people like, bro, try to experiment with your own body. Like, bro, like a lot of times
That's the
try
best
different
thing.
diets.
Yeah.
To be honest, bro,
No, that's
like
the best thing.
after like I've been on keto for like almost a year now, and to me honestly, bro, eating below 20 grams carbs a day, bro, I'm feeling the best. I'm the leanest I've ever been. I don't feel like dips and spikes in energy anymore, right? Whereas I would eat like fucking a shitload of what was I even eating, bro? I was eating a lot of fruits, a lot of bananas. I know like fruits technically are supposed to be healthy, but bro, I was just like eating like 4 bananas before gym, and I'm like looking at that's almost a full stomach, bro. Like I was like eating like I was like eating like 300 grams of carbs a day. I was eating a shitload of carbs. Then I went
Yeah.
on 100 grams, and then right now, honestly, when I eat like really low carbs, like low 50, let's say, bro, I just feel so like better for some reason because I don't feel bloated, I don't feel inflamed anymore, etc. But again, bro, some people work very well on carbs and lots of carbs, right?
Yeah.
So it's like,
Yep. Yeah, no, 100%. I mean, for instance, right now, so like I'm in prep for like a show in September and then a show in November. And so we actually, my coach, he just upped me. So I'm at like 650 grams of carbs a day right now. And
whoa,
so
what
like,
the fuck?
yeah, so yeah, I'm at like 4,500 calories. I forget like the whole breakdown, but yeah, like I'm up there because like I'm in a bulk right now. But the presumption that like carbs are bad, like is
Mm-mm.
it's actually it's not correct. Like physiologically, it's not correct. Like our bodies are meant to utilize carbs. However, carb choice matters, right? Like for instance, if I eat like oats or like a cream of wheat or something like that, I'm bloated. I feel like shit, bro. but I eat rice. I eat like all of my carbs pretty much come from rice and like fruits, and then like trace carbs like in like broccoli and stuff like that. That makes me feel my best. But like you said, you alluded to it, you have to find the carbs that work best for you. So like for you, like, not having many carbs, like you feel good like mentally and everything like that, I support. From a muscle building perspective,
Mm.
you are going to limit yourself in the long run because like carbs actually help shuttle like proteins and water and like the growth
Oh
factors
yeah.
into the muscle post workout. So if you're and then we also get to like it's a very complex topic, but we also get to the point of like carb timing, right? So like you should like always
Mm.
preload before a workout on carbs and then post workout before carbs. So like my carb windows are pretty much like the heaviest right before a workout and then right after a workout. The rest of the day, I'm eating maybe a little bit of trace carbs like with all my meals. I eat 6 times a day right now, so it's a little bit different
Mm.
than most people, but yeah, like the whole presumption that like carbs are bad and carbs make you fat. Like it's just incorrect. Dietary fat will be stored as fat easier than like a carbohydrate
Mm.
when you eat within your carbohydrate like threshold. So like, someone who doesn't go to the gym, twice per day like me, 6 days a week, if they ate the amount of carbs I did, they probably would gain weight, right? Like your
Mm.
body's not utilizing it. But carbs are what your muscle prefers to use as an energy source.
Oh yeah, I absolutely agree that, and also like the different types of carbs, right? If I eat like a fucking pizza, bro, my face is fucking
Like,
buffy like a squirrel. If I
yeah,
eat
yeah.
cereal with milk, bro, horrible.
Yep.
But if I eat like some
Yep.
sweet potatoes, or I don't know, cashew
Yeah.
nuts, right? Or if I
Yep.
eat um let me think. Like rice, I'm not really a big fan of rice to be honest. But like sweet
Yeah.
potatoes, if I eat sweet potatoes, I still can feel good. I
Yeah.
just feel that energy dump for some reason. I just feel like
Yep.
completely like I can't really focus whenever I'm trying to work, etc. After a big carb meal. Whereas if I have like 6 scrambled eggs not without anything else, I feel like I can just focus so much better, etc. But maybe that's just me, bro. Maybe somebody can feel absolutely okay after eating a full meal of potatoes or whatever.
Yeah.
So
And like that's the same thing with me too. Like regular potatoes, like not sweet potatoes, I feel like garbage again. Like it makes me bloat, it gives me like acid reflux. So like sweet potatoes I can get with and stuff like that. But yeah, it's
mm,
like you gotta find what works for you? And like to me, that's kind of like the beauty of like nutrition and like fitness is it's so unique and like it's adaptable and
mm,
there's really no such thing as like a one diet or one program fits all. Like, and
yeah.
if someone tells you that, then that's a very big red flag. Don't go with them. Like they're not educated enough. Again, there's ground principles
Mm,
that everyone that can build upon because like we're all humans, but it should always be unique. It should always be unique.
yeah.
Like for all of my athletes and lifestyle people that like I personally coach, none of their meal plans are the same, none of their workouts are the same. Like there's similarities for sure because you can only change it so much, but everything should always be individualized when you get to a certain level. When you're
Mm,
starting out, you can follow like what I call like a cookie cutter plan. I used to go to bodybuilding.com and find like a workout plan and like start doing that. And I think the first like year or two in the gym, you can get away with that. After that, if you really want to get serious and like optimize everything, you should start like to individualize and identify what like works best for you.
mm. I mean, yeah, absolutely. Everything is a lot of things are individualized, but I feel like there's a couple of things that should be like universal for most people. Like for example, bro,
Yeah.
like stretch at least one day out a week, bro. Do like
Yeah.
the proper stretching, bro. I paid for that big time, bro. My second year into the actually my first year into the gym, after like a year and a half, I was just 15 or 16. I was squatting heavy, right? Then warm up, never stretched a day in my life, bro.
Oh,
And yeah, my right hamstring, I injured it. It took me out for from training legs for like 8 months. So
yeah.
I paid for that big time. So
Yep.
now like I actually found a way to, because stretching was always so fucking boring. So usually
Yeah.
I would stretch and I'd watch a podcast or I'd have some video playing. I'd just pay attention to the video and it just like I'd get through it, right? I eventually after time I didn't. It's like such a habit that it doesn't really take much friction to do it. But it's just
Yeah.
like those beginning few times when you really don't want to fucking stretch, it's boring as fuck. well, yeah, obviously, if like if you try to do if you try to stretch 7 days a week, but you've never stretched in your life, bro, start once a week, bro. You know,
Yeah,
eventually,
start
like
small. Like
yeah, and
people like
eventually
focus
you
on like going too hard too early on.
mm,
Just like focus on sustainability.
and eventually you get to a point where you start doing splits and being like real flexible, and that's a benefit. But the most important thing is that your muscles are just like so less prone to injury when like they're not stiff and shit like that, and also warming up before workouts, right? Those are like some. This is like something that I think that there's no real excuse to not doing it, right? One day,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, I'm a big believer, and like the literature supports it as well. Like mobility is like the key to longevity, because like think about it, you can probably name people in your family or people that you see that are like in that 55 to 65-year-old like age
Mm.
demographic, and like what's their biggest thing? Oh, my hip, oh, my knees, oh, my shoulders, right?
Bro,
That's so preventable.
I
That's
know, I
so
know.
preventable in life.
I know people in their mid 20s with those problems.
Yeah, no, it's seriously a thing, and especially now, like, because the average weight of a person has increased significantly in the past,
Oh yeah.
decade, 2 decades, and so like our bodies are carrying more load, and like we're not priming our joints to do so, and so like joint health, mobility work, like spinal mobility, hip mobility, ankle mobility, that's all the stuff that like applies to everyday life, Like if you hurt getting off the couch, that's an issue. That's not normal.
Mm.
Like there's something wrong that we need to identify in order to get you to be able to, get up in
Mm.
the morning and not feel pain. Because that's what
Mm.
like when you have that, we create a sedentary lifestyle. Like you don't like if it hurts to move, your body is just gonna want to not move. You want to sit all day, so that way it hurts the
Mm.
least, right? But that's so preventable, and like if you start in like your 20s and then like continue that through your life, and it doesn't have to be something crazy like every day, maybe 3 times a week. Incorporate that in 15 minutes a day, you're going to age a lot more gracefully.
What's like one more thing they would say that's like kind of universal that like there's no excuse to not focus on like in terms of health, like bro, like no matter if you're old, woman, man, whatever, like there's no excuse to neglect.
So I would say maintaining activity as you age.
Mm.
And by activity, I literally just mean like getting your body to move. Take your dogs for a
Mm.
walk. Aim for like, for me personally, I try to get at least at a minimum 10,000 steps per day. But if you're a mom or a dad that's like just got done working 8 hours, go for a walk with your kids, go for a walk with the dogs, like ride a bike, like something where you're actually moving your body. Because the more that you keep your body moving, it keeps everything lubricated, it keeps blood flowing to the joints, it keeps blood flowing to like those little muscles that no one even knows about that seize up and make it hard to move. So I would say like there's really no excuse for that. Well, there are a lot of excuses for that that people make, like, "Oh, I don't
Mm.
have time. Oh, I don't have this." There was a study
Dude.
done. Most people watch TV for like 3 to 4 hours a day.
Mm.
If you could half that and then use 2 hours of movement, again, going for a little walk,
or
work within your means.
or you know what, like the easiest thing to do, it costs a few $100, but it has a high ROI. It's just like buying a stand-up desk, right, like on a computer,
Yeah,
etc. A
yep,
stand-up desk, you stand for most of the day. That's like level one. Level two
yep,
is buying a walking treadmill to put under it, and you walk for
yep,
like 8 hours a day or however long you're staying on your
yeah,
computer for. Bro, that's like easy steps for people, right? Like
yeah,
that's like such an easy thing, but it costs a few $100 to start with, just to buy that walking treadmill and the stand-up desk, and that's why
yeah.
people don't want to do that, right? But that's like such an easy fix.
But at the same time, they'll spend that same money, like the couple
Oh,
$100 investment on fast food or processed food or like their coffees per day. Like it's so
yeah.
fun. It's not funny, but like it's ironic that people always say like, "Oh, getting healthy is expensive." Da da
Mm,
da. It's like I offer this service where I'll look at like what your normal habits are per day and find ways that you can cut that out, and you'd have that money within a month to invest in yourself.
mm,
And it's more so it becomes a choice, and I think it's because people aren't educated enough, which I totally get. That's my whole purpose is to try
mm.
to educate people. Um, but like you said, the ROI is insane. how much do you value your health is really what it comes down to.
Yeah, because honestly, to be honest, a standing desk really takes like fucking 4 hours to get used to. I'd say a few
Yeah,
hours, you really stop noticing it. And it's like if you walk for like, bro, people spend 10 hours a day on their computers. If they just walk
yeah,
for those 10 hours instead of sit, bro, like take that into account in 10 years, bro, that makes such a big difference. Real, like,
exactly. Like we live in a society where like we want instant gratification now, and like it's because like social media and
mm,
everything, like we scroll, we get happy. Fitness, like it's never an overnight process. You start, if you're trying to lose weight, you start walking, you might notice, maybe if you're lucky, like a pound down like in a week. But like if you keep that same trend, in 2 months, imagine where you are. So you really have to like go into it with that mindset and like not get discouraged, and really just know that
yeah,
like in the long term it's going to pay off. Like you won't
yeah.
see it overnight. You 100% won't, but you know, in the long run and your quality of life, it will always pay off. I'm a firm believer in that.
One thing that I had a phone conversation with my cousin who was kind of fat, to be honest. He like told me like, yeah, bro, like you're going to the gym, you look, you're fit, whatever, but it's like it's gonna take a lot of time. It's gonna take it like 2 years to get in shape or whatever. I'm like, I completely thought different. I'm like, time is gonna pass by anyways. Like in two
Yeah,
years, you're either gonna have a six pack or a fucking beer belly or whatever, right? It's like right now you're fat because you're younger. You was a dickhead, right? Like,
yeah,
do you want to feel that annoyed at yourself right now in 2 years from now? Like the time is gonna pass. You're not gonna avoid. You're not gonna stop time. It's gonna take 2 years. Let's say he's not obese, but he's kind of fat, chubby. I'm like, bro, it's gonna
yeah.
take at least 2 years before you start seeing a little bit of abs. Like, do you want those 2 years to pass and you not made any priors, right? And I could
That's the
just
thing. Yeah,
see, I just see like a spark light up in his head when he is like, oh yeah, time is actually gonna pass by anyways. Like it's like how do you not think of that, right? But it's
yeah.
like that quick of a thought I wanted to put out because maybe someone might find it useful. Bro, time is gonna pass by anyways. Like you're not gonna avoid it. So like, what do you want to have? I,
I say something very similar, basically. Like time is like a variable that you can never stop, but it is controllable in the sense you can
mm,
utilize how you utilize that time, right?
oh yeah,
So if you choose for 2 years to put something off, and then you look back and like you're like, wow, if I would have just started, where would I be at now? And like I fell victim to that myself. I mean,
yeah,
where I'm at now is definitely not the person that I've always been. Like I was over 200 pounds, which is like, about 100 kg, like when I
yeah,
was like 15 years old. I was very overweight.
yeah.
Um, and I remember like thinking when I like turned 17, I was like, wow, if I would have just started more when I was like 15, focusing on it, where would I
Mm,
be? And then I took it seriously. And then like as like time has went on, I've been like very grateful for that choice. But
mm,
you said it yourself, like time is gonna pass either way. So what are you gonna do with it?
mm. I feel like this is partly like why people hate themselves a lot of times because they hate their younger selves. So I'm like, bro, my younger
Yeah,
self was such a dickhead, right? If they have
yeah,
something that they're not happy with, an addiction, like people said that you can't get addicted to weed, bro. How many people can't go a day without weed, for example? Like anything,
yeah,
video game, porn addiction, whatever. It's like your younger self was a dickhead. Do you want your
yeah,
future self to think that about you? Because this is like nothing changes if nothing changes. That's like the biggest
yep,
thing. But people don't realize that you can have the contrary, that you can actually be happy for what your
yep,
younger self built. Like, bro, like this is not. I didn't build this, bro. The 15-year-old me who was getting bullied in high
yeah,
school God built this for me.
yeah,
I'm like, bro, I feel happy. Like whenever I think about that, and people call you narcissistic or arrogant, but it's just like you're not because you don't think I don't think that I'm better than anybody else. I'm just like I'm happy that my younger self did that for me. I'm like I just love
yeah,
that guy. It's like man, it's like most people don't get that experience very often when they're grateful to their younger selves. Because when you separate your younger self from your current self and your future self as well, you don't want to be a dickhead to him because you know that you're gonna be that guy, and you actually want to forgive your younger self because he's dead already, basically.
Yeah.
Separating your future and past self is so useful as a practice, mental practice.
You should always reflect. I'm a big like introspective person, like now in my life, where, I definitely was not a good person, like, at certain points in my life, physically and just like as like a productive member of society. But like if you can use that to know like that you never want to go back to that point and like, okay, this is what I did, this is the outcome. I want to change that outcome. So now I know what to do. You should always reflect. You should always be doing introspection. I'm a firm believer in that. And like it's never too late. There's people, for instance, I have like a couple of lifestyle people that I coach that are in their 70s now. And, you
Mm.
know, it's never too late to start like changing little things and like reaping the benefits from that. So I think you said
Mm.
it very well there too. Like use your past self as a starting point and like know that you never want to get back to that point and like know what you're going to change to get past that.
Mm. Yeah. And it's also another thing is that people normalize a lot of bad stuff like, oh, it's just gonna happen as you grow older. I'm gonna give an example like, oh man, there's no 60-year-old with a six pack. Bro, I can tell you, whatever gym, like a proper old gym, like one of the cheaper ones, has that old grandpa who's still in his 70s and he's still working out. And he's stronger
Yeah.
than most of the guys in their 20s there, right?
You said it
Or,
yourself. Yeah. Like people
like,
just
bro,
like there's
it's,
there's this like generalized conception that like you just have to accept like as you age you're going to be
yeah.
like less healthy, you're not going to be fit, and like
Mm-mm.
for sure like the extreme would be like looking like you can step on a stage at 60 years old. But
Oh, no.
for that there's also normal people, normal, that are 60 years old that still run every day, that still like are able to move with like
Mm,
limited pain and everything like that. So you to accept it is a choice that like as you age you're just gonna have to deal with those. I don't believe in that. I firmly believe that it's preventable, and like again using like mobility as medicine or like movement as medicine is a real thing. Like that is where
mm,
I believe society like we should be going.
absolutely, bro. I want to ask you this question. How much would you say in percentages? How much would you say is training and how much is diet? Like, is it 50-50? Is it like 60-40, 70-30? What's diet? What's training?
So yeah, so I'll start with like a personal anecdote and then I'll kind of like get into like the science of it.
Yep.
So I until 2 years ago, I would train and then I really wouldn't worry about my diet. I would eat like healthy, but I wouldn't focus on like exact macros or like eating the right foods at the right times and everything like that. And, I was strong, like for sure, and like looked decent. But when I started like focusing heavily on my diet and everything, not only did like my body change physically, mentally, it was like I felt so much better. Um, and like it just complemented the gym. Like why are you gonna do one without the other, in my opinion? I don't know exactly what the percentages like should be, like if it's a 50-50. I do think eating healthy is more important than going to the gym. When we look at like muscle building in and of itself, like diet, I would say like 60% diet and then like 40% of your training. Because if you're training hard to failure like all of the time, but you're not getting enough protein or enough carbs or enough fats like within your day, you're not going to see a difference. Think about it. How many people say that they've worked out for 5 years and you look at a picture from 5 years ago and look at them today and it's like, oh wow, like you look pretty similar, right? And like there's nothing wrong with that, right? Like you are in and of itself healthy probably. But if you're trying to actually see changes like year over year, diet is a huge, huge thing, as well as like updating your training plan. I have people that I see in the gym for the last year that bench the exact same weight that I saw them at a year ago, curl the same weight week over week that they've been doing for a year. And ah, it's like there's there's a reason why you're not progressing how you want. It's because you're
Mm,
not challenging yourself enough. That too, like people eat the same things year over year and then wonder why they aren't changing. Like it's a definitely a balancing act. I would say for a normal person, eating healthy is more important than like training. For a person that's like wanting to see like muscle gain and everything, I would say it like skews to maybe like 60% diet, 40% training.
Mm. Yeah, I'd say probably like 70-30, but yeah. The biggest
Yeah.
change that I started seeing is actually when I don't preach keto to everyone. I know that some people it's not really good for them, but for me, when I started doing keto almost a year ago, it's like that's the first time I started seeing abs. That's the first. That's like I got lean without losing that much strength. It's also because I mostly eat eggs and beef, right? I was even tried like a carnivore diet for like a month, and it was like
Yeah.
it was hard eating just meat every day, nothing else. It's just so fucking it's like I still liked it, but it's like I wanted some eggs, I wanted some cheese, I wanted something different, right? But it's so much easier to hit your daily protein goal. That's one thing that I really enjoy about keto, is that man, it's like literally like what else am I gonna eat? Eggs, beef,
Yeah.
cheese, whatever, all the protein stuff. It's like it's so easier, right? That's like one benefit for me. But really, whenever I tried like different training for splits, etc., workout splits. I didn't see that much change, to be honest, or like gradual change. But whenever I started eating like above my calorie goal, like above like 200 grams of protein a day. Oh,
Yep.
protein, I mean, not calories. When I actually started eating a lot of protein, like 2 grams of protein per pound of body weight, that's when it's like almost I had like my second wave of newbie gains. It's like it
Yeah.
actually like feels crazy. So the by far, I'm gonna say
I will
like for
attest to that
me,
as well. Yeah.
I'm gonna say for me the biggest change was diet, man. And honestly,
Yep.
protein is so important, in terms of like building muscle and getting stronger. To be honest, but yeah,
Yeah.
man, there's different things for different people. Again, like
Yeah.
somebody wants to go vegan, I wouldn't do it, but hey, I kind of respect it, to be honest.
Yeah, I actually did an experiment with myself where last summer, about a year ago now, I went vegan for a 6 weeks, and I didn't experience any strength decreases. I didn't experience anything. I
Really?
focused heavily on like protein. Yeah, man, like people think like there's like a misconception of like being vegan and like not getting enough protein, but soy like for our protein absorption. So like things like tofu or like some of the meat alternatives, like the chicken alternatives or the beef alternatives that are like a soy base,
Mm,
that is the equivalent of eating like chicken or eggs. Like the protein is like the exact
mm,
same, like the way that our body like can process it. So I personally like I still maintained my strength plus increase. I looked pretty similar. Like there was no drastic changes.
mm.
I didn't continue with it because personally I just enjoy eating like meat and whatnot. But it is like completely feasible to be able to build strength while being a vegan if that is
Yeah.
your choice.
Well, you also have to realize that 6 weeks and 6 months is something completely different. Um,
100%. I would want to do like another experiment for a longer term. Um, I personally wouldn't do it on myself just because I like again, I just don't want to have to sacrifice like my normal
mm,
eating habits. But if someone that was vegan and you're seeing this and you want to be part of the experiment, I would absolutely love to do that. I think it would be very interesting.
mm.
I have friends that are vegan and you wouldn't think that they're vegan, both women and men. And like the way that they look and like their strength profile, they're better than some
Mm,
people that eat a carnivore diet. So it's all
mm,
about it's all about like the quality of what you're eating, in my opinion, you know?
Interesting. I didn't really expect that, but that's an
Yeah.
interesting opinion. I actually I actually don't like soy because of the endocrine disruptors in it, really, and what it does to your body long term. Like, yeah, you can build muscle a lot, but it's just like longevity. It, it, something about it just really doesn't feel right to me. Like it has like 20 different ingredients on a meat. It's like
So by soy, I mean like naturally occurring like soy protein. You know what I'm saying? Like
oh.
so like tofu, like the protein source in tofu is soy. You know what I'm saying?
Mm,
So like that like obviously when we get into like artificial soys and artificial proteins and like fillers and all of that, for sure,
mm,
I'll agree with you on that. Like the disruption and the way your body processes it, for sure. But like when you get naturally occurring things, so like I said, like tofu, edamame, things of that nature, where it's just pure soy and it's like naturally occurring, you really don't see those effects. Um, and like for me, like tofu, honestly, like it tastes good. Like it's very versatile. Like I would make a dish and like both my parents are very picky eaters. They don't like to try new things. I made it. It tasted exactly like chicken to them. It's all about like how you cook it and like present it. Um, yeah, that's my
Mm,
opinion that's based on like science.
mm. What's like one meal that like people consider like healthy, like it's been a myth, but it's actually the opposite. But everybody thinks it's good for you.
Yeah, I mean, so like you see like all these like breakfast cereals, right? Where it's like whole
Oh
grain and
man.
like all this stuff. And it's like if you read the ingredients, it's like the second ingredient's like sugar, right? And it's just like
Oh
super
yeah.
processed. So like to say that that's healthy, like it's like counterintuitive, right? Because like what nutritional benefit are we getting? Yeah, we're getting fiber. That's
Mm,
great. You can get fiber from vegetables. That's not processed. Um, like breakfast foods, breakfast bars, some protein bars, like they claim that they're like a protein bar, but like the
mm,
protein source that they utilize is like oats or something. And so like your body doesn't process oats the same way that it processes like a
mm,
chicken or like a whey or something like that. So if it says like I think the conversion for like oats specifically, like if it says like 10 grams of protein, you half that by 50% because your body's only
Jesus.
processing that 50% protein. The rest gets shuttled back into
Mm,
carbs. It's like really now that protein bar you're eating or like, that nutrition
mm,
bar that you're eating is not only processed, you're getting more carbs than like what it actually says because of the way your body processes it. And what nutritional value are you actually gaining? You're just getting sugar.
mm,
That being said, you can utilize that. Like if you go for a long run, eat that, right? Or like if you have like a heavy training day, like on legs or something, you can eat that. So like the term healthy is a bit of a misnomer in my opinion too, because it's so
mm.
arbitrary. But you see all these like people buying like healthy breakfast bars or healthy breakfast cereal, and it's like, is that like what benefit are we actually gaining from that?
Mm. In my opinion, when people look at healthy stuff, I think what determines a healthy meal is not really how much protein, how much carbs, how many fats it has, but it's more like, okay, how many ingredients does it have? Okay, how many cancerogenic stuff it has? How much stuff
Yeah,
that carcinogenic? Sorry, my bad. How much stuff that it can give you literal diseases does it have? Like, look on the back. Is there anything you can even pronounce? Right, like the prime.
yeah,
If you saw the prime, from Logan Paul and KSI, the prime drink, bro, you look at the back, it's a fucking Bible full of ingredients. It's like
yep,
it's like disgusting. It's like how can they make this taste like fucking I don't even know what flavors they have, or like a fucking rainbow, right? It's like it's so weird. Or like, like the diet stuff, diet anything, diet Coke, diet Sprite or whatever. Those are like, bro, you look at the back of it, yeah, it has no sugar. It has some other sweeteners, like, right? Or salads. People think that they're losing weight by eating a salad, but they put a shit ton of dressing onto it, a shit ton of sauce or whatever. I'm like, dude,
yeah,
you just put like fucking 400 calories on top of it. Like, what
yep,
the fuck? A lot of times. So yeah, actually, like, yeah, look at the macronutrients, but also look at is it even natural food? Is it even food, or is it something made in the
yeah,
lab?
yep.
So
I
there's a lot
agree
of
with that.
factors.
And it's also like context dependent too. Like, what's your goal?
Mm,
Like, I'm a firm believer now with like intuitive eating in the sense of like, eat for like what you want your like purpose to be, right? So if you're gonna eat like a salad, what is your goal with that? Okay, if it's to lose weight and like just like feel more full, don't pour a bunch of like heavy fat dressings on there because like that calorie, like you're not actually losing weight at that point. You're actually probably ingesting more calories because of the fat from the dressing. That being said, like nobody likes a dry ass salad, so use like a vinegar, um like lemon juice and like a little bit of like
mm,
olive oil or something, There's
mm,
ways to do it, but yeah, it's a little bit it's a very ambiguous question in my opinion because what are we defining as healthy, I believe in whole foods. I believe in like limiting processed foods. I believe in eating for a purpose, but you know, most people aren't like that. So I think it is like the coin of like health foods is a little bit messed up in my
mm.
opinion. It gives people the wrong impression. And then they wonder why, oh well, I'm not losing weight or like, oh, I'm actually gaining weight.
Mm.
And it's like, well, yeah, because you're just filling your body with all this not good stuff.
You know what? I just think that one food that you can never go wrong with really is like eggs, bro. Like eggs are so
Yeah.
simple, have proteins in them. They don't have carbs if you want to avoid them. You can get really fat off of eggs because, bro, an omelet with 5 eggs in it has like what 400 calories, 300, something like that. Like it's something so stupidly low. It's like you can't really get
Yeah, it's like
fat off of.
400. Yeah, if you eat like 7 eggs, it's like 70 grams or 70 calories per egg. So it's like 490 like calories.
Yeah, it's like it's a no brainer if somebody's like literally like don't doesn't even know where to start. Damn man, there's honestly like a variation of foods for different people that they react to
Yep,
differently.
I agree
Man,
with that. I agree with that.
man, how important is sleep, bro? Because a lot of people sleep like 5 hours a night, and they say, "Oh, but
Yeah.
it's no build games." Yeah, bro. Yeah. What do you think about that?
So sleep, I mean, yes, undoubtedly, like it's in the literature. People can have like their own personal anecdotes as well, but like sleep is the most important. That's where the gains actually like quite literally happen physiologically, based on like the way like our certain hormones like spike and like the healing and repair systems like that play a role in like muscle recovery. Sleep is the most important. I myself lack on sleep sometimes, I might only get like 5 hours because of my schedule, but
Hmm.
I really do try to like prioritize that. You should at a minimum be getting 7 hours of sleep. Like you should never sacrifice that. And there's no one that's super busy enough, in my opinion, unless like you're a resident in the ER that has an excuse of like, oh, I don't have enough time to get sleep. Like there's plenty of time in the day to get 7 hours of sleep.
Mm.
You
Oh
know,
yeah, bro.
that's my firm opinion. It's just how we prioritize it, right? Everyone should prioritize sleep, but that's
Mm.
always the first thing to go for people. And again, I'm sounding like a hypocrite because I myself like sacrifice sleep quite often, but undoubtedly that is extremely important for recovery.
You know, one thing that a quick tip that I would give to someone struggling with sleep, to be honest, is stop setting a timer to wake up in the morning. Start setting a timer to go to sleep. Right? It's like I
Yeah.
know that it's not cool to go to sleep at 6 or 7 p.m. Right? I know that it's not the cool thing to do, but for me, bro, honestly, if I really want to wake up at 3, 4 a.m., I gotta go to sleep at like 6 p.m. I start shutting down at least by 7 p.m. At least be in bed. Okay. Sometimes I
Yeah.
even put it like 2 hours ahead to start like putting everything or wear my red light blocker, blue light blockers, or like put every screen on what do you call it on that mode where everything is more orange.
Yeah.
So
The night mode. Yeah. Like
yeah,
the amber
yeah,
color.
exactly.
Yeah.
Whatever. Like start getting ready to sleep. A lot of people just really can't stand going to sleep early, but it's like that's the one thing that people struggle with the most. It's not waking up early. It's going to sleep early because
Yep.
everything fun is happening at night, right? So it's like, man, as soon as you can get this one without. I haven't used an alarm clock for like waking up in the morning for probably over a year. I usually like
That's awesome.
I really use an alarm only to get ready to sleep, and then my body just wakes me up naturally at whatever time it has enough sleep. And usually that's 3 or 4 p.m. A.m. because I go to sleep early, and it's not a
Yeah.
cool thing to do, right? You're the weirdo in the family that why do you go to sleep so early, right? It's like, bro, honestly, I love working in the morning when nobody interrupts me and I can focus on my
I
work.
agree
It's
with
like,
that.
oh my god, it's so much better. Especially, bro, if somebody's trying to build a business and go to school, have that school or a job, wake up like 3 or 4 hours before that job, even if it's fucking 4 a.m. Wake up before because that's when your brain functions the best. That's when you can focus the best, right? It's
Yep.
like if that's something that's really important to you, yo, just go to sleep earlier. So, in my opinion, going
100%.
bedtime is more important than wake up time.
I like that. That time more important than wake up time. I like that. Use an alarm for like getting ready to shut down and like go to sleep and just like calm your body. I'm gonna use that. I like that.
Because that's the true discipline, right? Whenever your parents would tell you as a kid to go to sleep and you would be like, no, for me it was video games. I want to play one more game, whatever. It's like as adults, our parents don't tell us that anymore, but we have to keep ourselves accountable.
100%. 100%.
Yeah. So if you had to do only like, let's say, 10 exercises to hit all of your body muscles for like a year, right? If you could do only 10 exercises for next year, which ones are you doing to hit every muscle group?
Ooh, okay. So 10. All right. So I'll start with like upper and then I'll go to lower. So incline dumbbell press for chest. Um, some sort of lateral raise, whether that's like a machine. I would prefer like a machine just because like you keep constant tension more for like your lateral delts. Um, for upper back, I'm gonna go with a row to grow, like a chest supported one. Uh, neutral grip like lat pull down where you can really get like full range of motion and like complete contraction through the lat all the way down. What's that for? Um, for biceps, I'm gonna go with a preacher curl because like you're keeping like tension throughout the motion and like you're just like really feeling that. For
Mm,
triceps, I'm gonna go overhead extensions just because like you're getting like more growth to all three heads.
mm,
Um, for quads, I'm gonna go pendulum squat just because like that's like the most like natural range of motion and also it's the most activation of your quads for that. For hamstrings, I'm gonna go probably a seated hamstring curl, like where you're leaning forward and everything, because then again, like you're working like the full range of motion there. For abs, I'm gonna go with some sort of like posterior pelvic tilt leg raise. So that way, like you're still contracting like the full range, and then like
mm.
your lower abs are like the slept on ones. That's why everyone thinks it's like harder to
Oh
get
yeah.
them.
You'll
Um,
never meet someone who has the lower abs but doesn't have the upper two.
exactly, exactly. And like you're still contracting all of your abs when you
Yeah.
bias it to that. Whereas like when you are just doing like an upper, like you can even feel it yourself. You're not getting a full
Mm,
contraction on the lower. It's like you really want if you think of like your pelvis like this as like a bowl of water, a posterior pelvic tilt is like where it goes like this. So like when you're hanging and then like
mm.
you don't want to just like lift your legs up. You actually want to like tilt your pelvis back. And that's like a full
Yeah.
contraction for the abs. Standing calf raises for calves. And then I think that's 10, right?
That's 10, yeah. Yeah, that's 10. So, apart from what was it? Traps and traps and actually that's just about it to be honest. Yeah,
Yeah.
rear delts, but bro, rear delts is the one thing that everybody skips anyways.
Yeah. Like you're still getting activation of them with like a chest supported like upper row.
Mm,
Obviously, like this is like, a theory. It's not like practical for like isolating them, but you would still get like muscle health and like muscle movement
mm.
with the exercises I
I mean,
stated, I
bro,
believe.
how many times do you accidentally hit different muscle groups? Like on lat raises, you hit traps accidentally a lot of times,
Yeah.
stuff like that. So it's like, yeah, a lot of times you hit more than one muscle group, to be honest.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. There's compensation for sure. I actually did a
Mm,
video on that. There's like
mm.
compensation with the rear delt and the traps and everything like that based on like how your muscle fiber orientation runs.
I was surprised you didn't mention either pull ups or squats.
So with the pendulum squat, you're working out so like right, I power lift. So squatting back squat
Mm,
for me is important, right? But like if you're a person that doesn't need your squat to be at a certain level, you can
mm,
get the quad activation and the same benefits from like a better alternative. So like for people that I program, I mean, like it might be like a heel elevated like Smith machine squat or something instead of just a regular barbell back squat.
mm,
I think there's better alternatives for it in terms of like pure hypertrophy standpoint.
mm. You know what's the most brutal thing, bro? It's leg extensions after like a few sets of squats, right? Of heavy squats,
Yeah.
for example, bro. The leg extensions is a nightmare after squats. Oh my god.
Yeah.
That's like my
Yep.
biggest fucking enemy. So whenever I'm like, I'm like that, I'm like, oh fuck me. You know, it's like it's one thing that I know that I fucking hate the most.
Yeah, 100%,
Because I
100%.
actually enjoy the
It's
squats, but whenever I'm like on the last few sets of squats, I'm like I'm anxious about the leg extensions. I'm like, oh my god, I really want to do.
yeah, yeah.
Especially when he
No, leg
drops set them.
extensions. Yep, leg
Oh,
extensions are definitely a pinnacle in like my leg day routine. So I
mhm.
agree with that.
I feel like that's kind of like one of the most painful exercises, to be honest. Like, there's very little that hurts more than like really leg extensions with a drop set, for me at least.
Yeah, you
It's like
can get like you if you when you do them right and like you're leaned back and like you're working like the full range of
yeah.
motion, hitting like all four heads, that it is a steeple quad exercise, You get a lot of muscle activation there. A lot of muscle activation. And then like now you have like the little piece that like inserts on like the part that like hits your shins. So that way you get like more range of motion and everything. So I definitely like that.
Actually, that's an interesting question. What either exercises or just muscles in general do you think are the most painful ones
To work.
to train? Yeah.
Um, that's probably gonna be like person dependent. For me, like my biceps are like the ones that always like cramp up and hurt the most. For
Mm.
some people, that might be like quads. Quads, I can do like I feel a burn, but like I never get like a full out like the same level of like intense pain that I do like with my biceps
Mm.
personally. I know some people also say like triceps, like their triceps will like cramp up and stuff. So I think it's person dependent.
Mm.
People do say like there's like the whole like if you're walking out of the gym after leg day thing. So like, you know, but like for me, the pain is different. It's a different type of pain. Like my legs are
Mm.
definitely fatigued after, and like there's a nice pump in them, but it's not the same level of like cramping, like where I can't like straighten my arm out and everything like that.
Mhm. For me, bro, it will be just like quads, calves, and chest. These three.
Okay.
Oh my god, bro, chest is like whenever I do the cable, the bench press is okay, bro, like dumbbell presses,
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah,
But the cable rows, oh my god, bro, that's also like fucking it burns like fucking hell. It's like that's something I
yeah,
absolutely hate. But it's like whenever I do like let's say like a barbell biceps curl, right? Like that's like actually kind of fun. It burns, but it's like the pleasant, the satisfying type of burn, in my
yeah,
opinion.
yep,
But again, somebody might have that with quads, which I don't understand, bro. For example, that's like
yeah.
that's something I absolutely hate. Man, everybody feels it differently, which is interesting.
Yeah. And like that's again, like we go back, if we circle back to like the uniqueness of working out, everyone will be
Mm,
different, and like that's kind of the beauty. You find like what you like and then what works best for you and you just program accordingly.
yeah. Honestly, bro, a thing that I regret doing is I would have certain muscle groups that I wouldn't want to train in the gym because I thought it would look weird. So I would just not train them or try to train them at home. So those were like glutes, right? So like glutes, I didn't want to train at the gym because I thought I'd look gay or whatever. And neck, right? Like with the
Yeah, like the
plate,
neck
right?
curls and
Right.
everything.
I thought I also looked like kind of weird, right? Because I get some weird looks. So there's another two muscle groups that I didn't want to train at the gym. But I just realized, man, if I don't train them at the gym, I tend to just skip them or be too lazy at home to not want to do them a lot of times.
Yep.
And bro, it's just like you're training a muscle group that a lot of people are skipping. Like, there's nothing to be ashamed
Yeah.
about. Right?
100%. I mean, for me, like I train glutes, like, it's a
Mm.
sprint muscle, it's a power muscle. It aids in everything that I do. So I definitely train glutes. For neck, I recently started incorporating that again. And like think of it this way, right? What's like some of the most common things that people complain about? Neck pain because of underdeveloped muscles. And then what's the most common injury in a car accident? Neck
Oh
injuries
yeah,
because of like
that saves
underdeveloped
lives a lot of times.
yeah. So like you definitely should. Now, should you program it the same as like you would like your pecs? No. Like if you hit it once a week, that's probably sufficient.
Mm.
But you definitely should train them. I believe every muscle you should train. Like that's my opinion.
Yeah. Oh
There's
my god, bro! It's like the first time I started training neck, like right. I don't do it with a plate if you do it for the first time, please, for the love of God, don't injure yourself. Do it just like
Yeah.
lie on the side of your bed and just do it with your own fucking head that weighs something. I do like
Yeah.
20 reps for each side, the front and the back, right? Whatever. Bro, see how it feels, okay? The second day, a lot of times you will be sore, like you turn your neck and it fucking hurts. Like that's kind of good, but if you actually push it too hard, like bro, it's so inconvenient in the day-to-day life.
Yeah.
That bro, oh my god, like for example, I'm doing driver school right now, bro. If I last time actually I did that, to this lesson, I kind of learned my lesson. The last one, I trained my neck a little too hard, like 2 days before that, and it was still kind of sore. He would tell me, the
Yep.
instructor would tell me to like look in the mirrors, right? I would look, but bro, it would just be so inconvenient. Oh my god. So that's like one
Yeah.
one thing that I would like advise. Like that's like a muscle that you need 24/7. A lot of times, your neck, you need to turn your neck. So that's one muscle that I would say don't train as hard a lot of times.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Obviously, you gotta like again consider like your day-to-day life and like if it's gonna be an
Mm.
inconvenience, because then you just build that loop up of like, you're probably a person that's gonna still train neck, but if it's somebody else and they're like, oh, I can't even turn my neck to like look at my blind spot, they're gonna be less likely to want to train neck again, right? So
Oh yeah.
you gotta like kind of be like smart with it. I agree.
I want to get in some rapid fire questions before we wrap up.
100%, 100%.
What's the best advice you've been given?
Best advice that I've been given. Just like never worry about like doing something for someone else or like worry about someone else's opinion. Cause at the end of the day, like no matter what you do in life, someone is always going to say something. Like there's going to be an equal number of people that like admire you and hate you at the same time. And so if you
Oh
put
yeah.
yourself in a box of trying to like people please, you're never going to be like fully happy yourself. So like focus on your own happiness first, and then you'll be able to like make other people happy as well.
What's the stupidest advice someone has given you?
Stupidest advice. Probably workout advice, honestly. It's just like illogical. So like, oh, you should only do like this type of exercise to like get this gain. Or like, oh, you should only eat like these certain foods to like really get lean and muscular.
Mm.
Again, it just like puts everything like in a vacuum, and like that's not the way life works or like physiology works.
Mm. How often do you train a week nowadays?
So right now I'm on a 6-day split.
Mm.
And then like the 6th day is also more of like a light like stretch day. So 5 like intense days, one like 60 to 70% day, and then one rest day. And
Mm.
like that's for someone that's competing at like a high level and like really like pushing their limit. This isn't sustainable. So like, I'll probably at the end of this bulk have like a month long where I'm only on like a 4 or 5 day split for like to allow my muscles to recover before I go like hard on the cut and
Mm.
everything. But yeah,
Do you have a favorite quote?
favorite quote. Fog it up, fog it up, fog it up. So I remember when I was playing hockey, I was 4 or 5 years old. At the ice rink that I would go to, there was a picture, and there was like this kid, and it was like a picture of him here, here, and here. And like he was skating, he would fall, he would get up, skating, fall, get up. And so, I didn't know it at that time, but that's something that I definitely like apply to my everyday life still. Like, don't be afraid to fail. If you fall, just like get back up. The only time you're ever gonna like lose something is if you don't try again.
Mm. Interesting. I like that, to be honest. What was the proudest moment in your life?
Proudest moment of my life, proving to myself that I could accomplish whatever I set my mind to. So like there's been a couple. So like with school, it was like when I got into my program, I was told by like a lot of like people like on committees and everything like that, I just don't have what it takes, or like, I should go this route
Mm.
and stuff like that. And they were probably like their statements had like validity to it for sure. But if you want something, you can do it. And so to me, like I always know that if I bet on myself, I'm gonna win. And so like that's enough for me.
Mm. Yeah, that's actually really good. What advice would you give to your 18-year-old self?
Stop worrying about pleasing other people. Stop
Mm.
like holding off on like the things you want to do because like you're not ready for it. Um, like you're gonna find your most happiest moments when you start focusing on like what you want to do and what you want to accomplish. And don't be afraid to lose people if they don't fit there. Cause like
Mm,
my biggest flaw in life has always been like holding on to things or like being afraid of change. And you got to embrace the change. So if I would have known that at 18, I probably would be a lot different in life, but you know, it's a
mm,
learning experience and I'm happy where I'm at now. So maybe I needed that.
mm. Andrew, this has been a pleasure, man. What's next for you?
What's next for me? So gonna try to finish up school and then take like that knowledge and keep building on what I've already like building now. I'm
Mm,
hopefully gonna be able to get a pro card at some point in either
mm,
powerlifting or bodybuilding and just like keep trying to make like a positive impact on the world, whether that's through
mm,
like medicine, education, a combination of the both, I hope. But that's like my near future goals right now. And then just keep
mm,
like building everything that I have going on right now.
mm. I love that, bro. Where can people find you?
So yeah, so I'm on Instagram primarily right now. I'll be launching my TikTok in about 2 weeks right now. I'm just like building up content to post. But Andrew underscore Dynka, Dynka, is my handle for both. So and I post a lot of like lifestyle, fitness, and educational content. So
I love that. Guys, thanks a lot for watching till the end. May God bless you all. I'll catch you all on the next one.